Now, a lot of y'all are excited about Kaspa because we saw Kaspa go on a massive run, hitting up to 4 cents at its all-time high and then consolidating back down to 3 cents and impressively staying there for quite some time actually at this point. I've seen some dips down to 2.8 cents at some times, but if you've been early on Kaspa, all of that sounds really good regardless. And the thing is Kaspa could potentially go on more runs if a lot of these new mechanisms that they're putting into place are successful. The first one being, of course, Kaspa on Rust. And the alpha release is for April 15th, enhancing the Kaspa network to unmatched speeds, performance, and scalability beyond the realms of existing proof-of-work consensus mechanisms. The Kaspa community eagerly anticipates the release of the alpha version of Rusty Kaspa, which is scheduled for April 15th. This milestone release will include testnet and mainnet testing binaries, with beta and stable releases to follow after extensive community testing. The primary goal of this major update is to optimize the network's decentralization, performance, security, and scalability, considering the capabilities of current communication networks and average node hardware. It's important to note that the optimal block processing speed will be determined through extensive real-world tests. As a result, the Rust implementation is expected to provide significant performance improvements over the current version. Still, the team is committed to conducting thorough tests to ensure the best possible result for the network. The transition to enhanced performance will take time. Following the release of the well-tested Rust version operating at its initial block processing speed on Go language, the network will progressively optimize the rate through a carefully designed process. First, a specific block processing speed will be tested on the testnet. Then, if the test is successful, the change will be scheduled for activation on the mainnet. This process will be repeated for each new optimization. To ensure a smooth transition and provide ample time for the community to upgrade their nodes, hardware if necessary, and proprietary software, there will be a delayed date of automatic activation for each new optimization on the mainnet. This phased approach will help mitigate any potential issues and ensure a seamless switchover for all network participants. The upcoming release of Kaspa on Rust represents a significant step forward for the project. The enhanced network performance is highly anticipated by the community, as it would enable faster transactions and cater to the growing needs of the users and further adoption. As always, the Kaspa developers remain committed to working diligently to ensure the continued success and growth of the platform. Stay tuned for more updates on this exciting development in Kaspa. Now, they do release it, and it says, tip, it's important to note that 32 BPS is a preliminary estimate. Actual testing will reveal the true optimal performance based on the network and hardware capabilities. So we'll start to see what the true capabilities are of this in particular. Now, obviously, this is super bullish for Kaspa in general. And another thing that I wanted to bring up is the only news that we can really find on Kaspa still to this day is on their own Medium blog post. There's very few people talking about it. We have not seen massive publications like Cointelegraph or Coindesk talk about Kaspa yet. We haven't seen a large exchange put Kaspa on yet, right? We haven't seen like a Kraken or a Coinbase or anything, or a Binance or anything along those lines from an exchange perspective. So don't worry if you're sitting there thinking, well, I missed this run for Kaspa. I don't necessarily think that that's a big deal. I think that, especially because we're still sitting in this bear market, we're still waiting for the halving of Bitcoin coming up, that Kaspa has a long way to go. And there is a ton of growth potential here. Don't worry about missing out. If you're mining, take the profits that Kaspa offers, continue to mine Kaspa and go that route. If you want to mine other coins that are more profitable, like Nexa, Radian, or Dynex, and then trade it for Kaspa, that's all up to you. Come up with your own personal strategy and go from there. But it's important to note that this is, while Kaspa has had one of the most busy weeks that I've ever seen on social media in history for Kaspa itself, we're still not seeing large publications talk about it, okay? Once you start to see, Cointelegraph talking about the technology, talking about Yonatan's history within blockchain going back as far as 2013. Once you start seeing that sort of stuff happen, and it break out of just crypto Twitter and onto the mainstream, that's when we're going to see, in my humble opinion, really large growth for the network in general, right? There's even blocks within things like CoinMarketCap where it's not even showing it on its true worth, right? On its true market cap and everything, because it's still blocked at that 200. However, if you go to something like CoinGecko, it broke into the top 100 where it should be, because that's just based off of the data. So CoinMarketCap correcting some of that stuff. All of these things in combination is really building up. What I do feel like Kaspa is kind of in this weird space of like, it hasn't exploded yet, but it is building up and ready to explode. I could see, of course, to be completely clear, issues with Rust and the move to Rust basically making Kaspa fall or fail, right? This is a big upgrade. There are things that could go wrong here. And just like we see with other projects early on, if they have issues, they do falter pretty heavily. And if you lose trust early on, it's really hard to build out of that, right? An example would be Dynex here recently with their web wallet fiascos. And while I still am pretty hot on Dynex from a technical perspective, I do realize that from an adoption perspective, because a lot of people were using the web wallet because of its ease of use and the web wallet going down all of the time, that a lot of people lost trust in that actual project. And so when we talk about where Kaspa is right now and it like being ready to explode, it's also important to note that it could completely implode if these upgrades don't go well, right? That's okay though. They are working on some other stuff too. Some more Kaspa news. There is an implementation of Fly Client, which will be named FlyDAG. This issue is on their GitHub right now. It talks about how Kaspa right now utilizes GhostDAG. It gives you the preliminaries on Fly Client. I'll do a completely separate video for this, but just know that it's an update that helps strengthen essentially the security and the speed of the network and all of that. And they will be repurposing it or renaming it to FlyDAG, implementing it into GhostDAG, potentially, right? This is going to be a proposed solution. And if you want to read more about it, that's linked down in the description below. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. You can check out the full episode here or more crypto content down here. Also, I'd like you to check out my locals page at sonofatech.locals.com, where you can become a member for free or choose to be a $5 a month supporter that unlocks additional content.